Welcome to another episode of It Takes a Viking, the official podcast of the Salem State University alumni and friends community. My name is Mike Mitchell, Director of Engagement in the Office of Advancement here at Salem State. Welcoming to today's show, Dr. Sami Ansari, the Dean of the Maguire Meservey College of Health and Human Services here at Salem State. Dr. Ansari, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
It'll be a pleasure to share your story, introduce you to our community for those folks that may not know you. So the first question I'll ask you is, what is your story? How did you end up on the path that led you to becoming dean here at Salem State and wanting to come to Salem State?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and I know that we don't have enough time to really delve into this question, but I never actually planned to be a professor or dean. After graduating from college with master's degree in political science, I joined police service, became a police officer, and became a police chief. But one thing that was always there in me that I wanted to go back to school to do PhD, and that never actually died. So I took sabbatical in between after 10 years of work, and then went to grad school again to do master's in business and public policy, and I came to Syracuse. Then there I had the opportunity of interacting with not only public policy, but faculty, but some of the faculty who were actually focused on criminal justice. And that's where I started thinking about moving into the direction of, doing PhD in criminal justice. And the next year I applied and then came to Northeastern University here in Boston, did my PhD in criminal justice. And that's it. And after that, I came here at Salem State as full-time tenure track faculty, and I love this place. I can never imagine to be anywhere else. And there's no difference between, there's one common thing between policing and academia is that both of them are dedicated to helping community and, young folks. And but I realize that academia provides a much broader canvas where you can have more lasting impact in lives of young people in community. And that actually, for me, it was a very natural, easy transition from being police chief to a faculty in criminal justice and here at Salem State.
And where did you spend your time on the force when you were on the
I was police chief in India, but also I worked with the United Nations in different places. I was 2 years in a place called Bosnia. You must have heard about, and as working as International Police Task Force. And I, while doing my PhD, I also had the opportunity of working for Boston Police, not as a police officer, but as a policy and crime analyst. So that was my work.
So you've been a little bit all over the place.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Thinking about some of your academic experience, either from your time in undergraduate, master's level, or through your PhD program, do you think back to a time in your academic experience in a class that has stayed with you from then?
More than one. Many of them. Many of them means many of them. But given that I have had, 2 master's degree, 1 PhD undergrad, so I spent a huge number of years, large number of years in school, and have had so many classes and so many faculty and so many political science, criminal justice, business, all that. And there are more than one or 2 or 3 or 4 classes and occasions which still are very vivid in my memory, and they actually impacted my thought process and everything. But one thing is common. It was not about the nature of the discipline and class or subject or topic, but it was always about the faculty, the professor. Some of the faculty members who actually went above and beyond to work with me during my all school days. They helped shaping my thought process. They made me realize, that confidence, self-confidence in me, and so those things are still with me, and I still remember very vividly each of my professors who actually went above and beyond to create and to give me that self-confidence and to shape my thought and everything.
I think something you just mentioned is probably somewhat similar to what happens here at Salem with things like our smaller class sizes, in that if I were to ask probably another graduate of the institution or what I remember from my own academic experience, I can't put my finger on the pulse of one specific class, but I remember many of my professors very
Absolutely.
strongly. And so I think that's probably, as you alluded to earlier, that you love Salem State so much, as do I. That's one of the things we hear most common is that the faculty members play such a critical role in the development of our students. So
Very well.
a point well
Absolutely.
taken.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about your role in the dean's chair and what the day-to-day responsibilities look like, you have to juggle the needs of not only the faculty, but staff, students here in the college. How do you manage all of that? What does a day in the dean's suite look like, and how do you manage all of those responsibilities?
Well, I first of all, I love being dean, and I absolutely love the work I do. And it's an interesting question because there are three different, I would say, stakeholders or group of people I have to work with, and sometimes their interests may not be aligned together. There might be some conflict, and those are students, number one, faculty, and staff. With that being said, when you have complete clarity and commitment to the ultimate goal, and that ultimate goal is to help the students succeed, the student success, then everything starts falling together in place. Because very soon you realize that the faculty, staff, everyone is kind of trying to chase the same goal. Everyone is working for that end, to ensuring that students who come to Salem State, they succeed. And then in that effort, what I do is I kind of, with that vision, with that clarity in my mind, when I try approaching any kind of even conflict, it becomes very easy for me to really resolve it. And then obviously, I truly believe that the success of my faculty and staff eventually leads to the success, the ultimate goal of the success of my student. Mm-hmm. So that's how I'm able to manage my different kind of responsibility into bringing into one, and then doing what I do here.
In helping students here in the Maguire Meservey College of Health and Human Services succeed, in helping them get to the finish line, to commencement, and then becoming engaged professionals in the world, sometimes there can be hurdles and challenges in getting them to that finish line. What are some of the obstacles that you're seeing right now in terms of the challenges that our students are facing, and what's working in helping them get through it?
Our students are different than a regular, normal, urban, public or private big school. Our students come from the background that is a bit challenging. Socioeconomic challenges they come from. So because of their background, most of them, as you know, they're more than 50% of our students coming from the first generation. So they never had anyone in their family with college degree or education or experience. So not only they are coming from a background which has the economic challenges, socioeconomic challenges, economic challenges particularly. So then most of them have to really fend for themselves and work full-time or part-time at the same time going to school. So that becomes one of the biggest challenges, financial challenges. But also in addition to that, they have a challenge. They're coming from first generation. They're coming from immigrant families. They're coming from those families where they don't have that hand-holding, and coming from their parents and from their siblings and from other family members. So they're trying to navigate on their own, figuring out everything. So those challenges, these are perhaps the topmost challenges our students have here at Salem State. But remember that our students are fighters. They are more resilient than students going to those big schools. The reason is they have determination to change their life. They are working and they're fighters. They are so that I have so much of respect for them, and because they are very special, the kind of grit and resilience they have, the fighting spirit they have. It's not easy because they're trying to change the pathway and everything in their family, and then by coming to the college. So what we can do here is obviously, in terms of resources, the financial aid is number one resource that we can provide to our students. giving them a little bit of hand holding, saying, hey, we take care of a little bit of expenses here and there so that you can focus on your study, and the financial aid, the advising, because the advising is very important here, because they're not coming from the families that have so many, college graduates. They know how to choose courses and do this and that, navigate through, all the systems at the college level, but they're trying to figure out everything by themselves. So having a good mentoring and advising is perhaps the second most important resource, from my opinion, that can help students to succeed. And in addition to that, I think, I can give you the list, but I would say the last thing, and perhaps the most important thing, is believing in them. Mm. And when we believe in them, and rather than being judgmental about, they're coming because of the structural conditions from which they're coming from, at times you might be judgmental about them. Okay, their grade is like 1.88 or 1.9 and 2 and something. But rather than just keeping aside and believing in them, and once you believe in them, I have a story to share if I can share, but I don't know, you don't have time, but there was a student in my class, first generation student. She failed the statistics class I was teaching, and then she came to my office and started crying, and she said, I don't know how to do the stats. I have absolutely no idea. And I failed, and I will fail. I said, okay, don't worry about it. And then I kind of sat with her, talked to her. I said, how about this? Before every class, you come 30 minutes before to my office, and then we go over the material. And then let's do it every week. And then she started doing it. And then slowly, and then I, kind of like I started encouraging, not I did everything, but I just made her feel that she can do it. And she became the first student, only student in my class in the final with 100% grade, perfect grade. And then later on, she went to grad school with the stats, and then landed up with his amazing job. And now she works as, as does the number crunching and, data analysis for some company somewhere.
So giving access to the support, the resources, one of the things that we're excited about as we think about the future of not only the College of Health and Human Services, but Salem State in general, is Project Bold. And that is President Keenan's and the institution's long-term vision to bring our campus more closely together. Here in the Maguire Meservey College, you've been on South Campus for many, many years, which for many students can feel like a lifetime away from where they spend the rest of their time on campus. So can you talk a little bit about some of the impact that this project will have on yourself as the dean, the leader of the college, but most specifically our students, and the role that this project will play in shaping the future of the college as well?
I mean, thank you for asking that question. That's really, as you know, that Project Bold we are number one stakeholder. So all the programs from South are going to move to North Campus, right? That's the biggest component of Project Bold, and we are, from Health and Human Services, are the biggest shareholder. So our excitement, our anxiety, everything is on top. That said, starting from enrollment, students decide to apply to come to school. From that point onward, persistent, retention, graduation, success, everything. How do we achieve that? So when we have the ability of making that journey of 4 years smooth, right, and smooth and without much problems, then we're likely to achieve the success in terms of retention, persistence, and graduation. The campus, South Campus, and the distance between South Campus and North Campus, and with all the traffic, and then the shuttle, and then 10 minutes time in between two classes, that itself presents such a big impediment to some of the students. And because what happens, and then they have to choose different schedule, and that may not match with their life going on, their work and everything else. That puts them like, okay, I'm not taking this course, or I'm taking only 3 courses instead of 4 courses, or I'm taking 4 instead of 5 courses. That puts them like, okay, in terms of instead of graduating in 4 years, they might end up graduating in 5 years. Or instead of making the progress that they desire, they need, they end up not making progress, and then they decide to just drop off or something like that. So I'm just giving an extreme example. So the Project Bold, which is bringing South Campus to North Campus, So number one, it eliminates this kind of real problematic schedule-based adjustment for our students and faculty, particularly for our students. And this is a big deal. If you talk to our students, then you realize that taking one class in Meyer Hall and then taking the second class right after that here in this building, and 10 minutes time is minus 20 degrees outside and the shuttle is late. Think about it. They have to think so many times before they were scheduled. So that is taking such a big thing from their, big hurdle and problems from our students and helping them. That's one thing. The second thing is that the student, okay, first and second year they are there, but third and fourth year, in junior and senior years, they are taking courses here. Our nursing students taking all those labs, and they're spending hours and hours here, and our OT students take all the classes here. When students are spending most of the time here in this campus, which doesn't have any resource center for students. All the resource centers are located in North Campus. Library, tutoring center, advising, anything, student center, everything is located right there. So then what happens when, as you and I know, that when there is inconvenience or distance or something like that, you end up not taking advantage of those resources. That eventually negatively impacts the persistence, retention, and their success. So the Project Bowl, I can go on explaining the benefits of Project Bowl, but trust me, Project Bowl is something I cannot overstate the benefits and importance of Project Bowl for our students, not only for our students, but for arts and sciences students, for education students, for the entire Salem State. Even the students who are in arts and science and education and other programs, they're not able to get the full benefit of these programs, which are housed here in South Campus. When these programs go there in North Campus, think about how much, benefits, how much sort of like collaborative learning benefits, students taking courses and all that thing will happen. So I just cannot overemphasize the importance of Project Bowl and Promise.
It offers too a somewhat unique opportunity as we think about the history of Salem State to this point, but looking ahead to the next 10 years in considering prospective students in addition to our current students. Taking students on a tour of our campus can sometimes be a little bit of a walk.
Sure.
And now in taking Horace Mann, the former lab teaching school, and it's still going to be a teaching school, somewhat a little bit different from what it used to be, but it now opens a new door of opportunity for the College of Health and Human Services to show off some fantastic new spaces to prospective students as well. Absolutely. Which has to be exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, you know that the building, the new building, Horace Mann, the reconstruction. I'm not sure if you've seen the design. I'm not sure if you know what's happening there. I wish at some point of time you go inside and see, and at some point of time you sit with one of us to go over the design. The kind of spaces we are building there, they're going to be the state of the art, perhaps the best spaces in the entire North Shore, or maybe at some point of time, compared to any other place here. The classrooms, active classroom with all the technology and everything, and then, for example, like the top floor, which is the most magnificent floor in the building, is going to be the entire nursing lab, nothing else, no faculty office, no other thing, just lab. So when you go on in that building on the top floor, you enter into the top floor, you will have a feeling that you have come to some very well-designed hospital building, something like that. So the possibilities, and then I have an opportunity of talking to some of the students. I just met with a team of 45 students coming from Ipswich high school, juniors. They will be coming to college in 2 years, and I was talking to them about the lab and the spaces and the simulation and all that. Oh my goodness, the excitement was going through the roof, and they just wanted to go and see that. I said, no, at this point in time you cannot, but at some point in time you will be able to see that place.
2027, I believe. Yep. September 2027 will be opening. So if you're watching this and you haven't been in the Horace Mann building in 20 years, come back and check it out. It's going to be something quite special.
Yep.
Yeah. If you were to offer one thing. So we've talked about some of the benefits of moving the college to North Campus through Project Bold. We know there are some additional resources for students in the college, specifically in the nursing program, but the college includes nursing, it includes occupational therapy, it includes criminal justice, it includes healthcare studies, which is folks who are interested in a healthcare setting, but maybe not as a clinical practitioner
Absolutely.
or a provider in some way. What are some things that you get excited about as the dean of the college? And if you're talking to a prospective student or somebody that's listening to this conversation, you would want them to know about the Maguire Meservey College of Health and Human Services, what would those things be?
So Health and Human Services, as we know that, this is one area of work. It has never seen any kind of, so imagine that, can you imagine that health care industry or health and human services industry has gone through the rough patches and then not having the prospects of job and stuff like that. This is the field that has never seen any kind of slump. It's always on rise because it has so much of demand. We have 500,000 less number of nurses than we need in Commonwealth.
Just in the Commonwealth.
Just Commonwealth. That's just one example. So we have massive demand, and the reason is because our communities want more nurses, more healthcare professionals for our aging population, for our more people who can work with our aging population, and more people who can work in nursing homes and community centers and hospitals. We need more well-rounded, educated police officers who understand the mental health crisis, police officers who know about social work aspect of policing. We need more social workers. So this and we are privileged to. I mean, I can claim I don't mind in claiming that among all the state universities, we are the strongest when it comes to health and human services programs.
There's something too about understanding public college graduates in general serve the communities in which they live and graduate from.
Most of our students live here.
70% of graduates, over 70% of graduates that attend Salem State stay in the Commonwealth. So it's a direct contributor to the workforce within the walls of the Commonwealth. But I think there's something special, romantic, exciting about the idea that the nurse that may help deliver your baby or treat your aging parent, or the police officer who's going to serve and protect your community, or the member of the healthcare industry that's going to help you understand how to navigate all of the challenges that can exist with your own health, the health of a loved one. If you're at Salem Hospital or Leahy Burlington, you're not only a resident of those communities, but you're going to be served more often than not by a member that came up through that community as well and understands the challenges that they face each day.
And that these programs, as you rightly said, our community members, I'm not saying that other programs in other areas are less important than these, but think from my perspective, from our perspective, you go to hospital, nurses, and hospital is not about just nurses and doctors. Hospital has so many other things, and those are the people who are coming from our healthcare programs. And then occupational therapy and the nurses and the police officer outside. Not only the police officers, but today when you talk about the security, the police is the very tiny part of the overall security umbrella. I mean, there are so many other organizations and stuff busy with security, providing security to our community and our businesses. So we are the kind of stuff our students are doing. These programs are helping the community. Those are critically important. Those are so important for our communities that if we are not able to do what we are doing, then perhaps there'll be a big crisis, and then other businesses and other folks will struggle to do what they are doing. So we provide the foundation. We provide everything which is essentially critical for our communities. That's where our community members and businesses and everything else is able to do what they're doing. So we are proud of that, and this is what we want to actually tell our prospective students and alumni, that you should be very proud to be associated. And if you have graduated from here, you should be very proud. And if you are thinking about coming to here, then come with a sense of pride that you're going to really go back to the community and then give back to the community and serve the community where you're coming from.
There's something special too about the naming of the college itself. The other named colleges here at Salem State, the Bertillon School of Business, the McEwen School of Education, both named for graduates of the institution that they graduated from. So Henry Bertillon for the Bertillon School of Business, Jamie McEwen for the McEwen School of Education. But the Maguire Meservey College of Health and Human Services is named for a former president of the institution, our 13th president, Dr. Patricia Maguire Meservey, who herself was
a nurse,
a healthcare practitioner.
Absolutely.
Prior to getting into academics.
Absolutely.
And so there's always some wonder too whether or not a naming is done in the spirit of the graduate that it's named for. But obviously Henry Bertillon was very successful in business. Jamie McEwen, interestingly enough, started his career in education at a Boys and Girls Club and then went in a different direction. But the folks who named the school for him recognized the impact that education had on his career. And so too, in naming the Maguire Meservey College of Health and Human Services, that was done not only because of President Meservey's impact on Salem State, but I know the college was very important to her as a healthcare provider.
Absolutely. You said everything that I wanted to say. It was not a tribute to President Meservey for doing everything what she did for Salem State, but also kind of a recognition that she was a nurse, and given that nursing is our crown jewel, the most important program for the College of Health and Human Services, it was absolutely natural fit for us, and it's a matter of pride for us here at Salem State in this College of Health and Human Services to be known as, Maguire Meservey College of Health and Human Services.
Project Bold brings the college back to North Campus, state-of-the-art facilities, incredible programs here in the College of Health and Human Services. If you are a prospective student, check out our website, learn more about this incredible human being, Dean Sami Ansari, that's taking the Maguire Meservey College of Health and Human Services to the next phase in its life cycle, a very exciting phase. Visit our website, learn more, come see us here on campus, meet the dean, meet the faculty, meet some current students as well. And when you do that, you will not be disappointed. So, Dr. Sami Ansari, Dean of the Maguire Meservey College of Health and Human Services, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Great
Thanks
to have
for coming
you on
here,
the show.
taking the time to come here. Thank you.
And for this and other great episodes of It Takes a Viking, the official podcast of the Salem State University Alumni and Friends community, visit our website, visit our YouTube page, follow along throughout the course of the year for exciting developments with Project Bold as the project progresses. And thank you for watching. And until next time, my name is Mike Mitchell, Director of Engagement in the Office of Advancement here at Salem State University.